So, welcome everyone. My name is Isabella, and I'm the marketing director here at TATSoft. I'm so happy to welcome you to the official launch of FrameworX 10.1. Today, we'll hear from different members of our team to give you a big picture view. Why this release matters, how it impacts our customers, and what it means for you. To kick things off, I'm thrilled to introduce our founder and CEO, Mark Tacalini. Mark, thank you for being here. And we'll begin a little bit by talking about the market itself. Can you tell us about what is changing and why this context matters when we think about this launch?
Thank you, Isabella. It's a pleasure to be here. And I've been working in industrial automation for over 3 decades. And the last few years, they have been unlike anything we've seen before. Uh, the rise of AI, of course, is a huge game changer. And it's happening right now. It's no longer the future. It's reshaping industries, how we embrace the reality. The last 2 years, they are really different. We say that all time, the last year is different, but this time is true. They are really. Because it's the AI, of course, the big game changer, but it's not only AI. The process, even things in society are changing at a very fast pace. Industrial automation, that presents both an opportunity and a big challenge. Our industry has always been about being stable, reliable. So the big challenge we face is to do the reconciling of that needing of the solid, long-term, stable foundation with the rapid change nature that's happening around us, and we need to follow. There is no
Waiting.
decision. No, you cannot decide to follow or not. We just need to follow. So that's the context that was the vision for the creation of the FrameworX standpoint platform. I've been working many years on that to build, provide a stable, great foundation we need, but allow our customers, our partners, to enable the speed and flexibility and growth this modern age requires from us.
That's perfect. So, kind of to recap, that operational stability is key. It's what it's all about. Without that strong foundation, future technologies don't matter. And that's when FrameworX 10.1 comes in. So, can you explain, Mark, a little bit about that version for us?
Yes, absolutely. FrameworX 10.1 is really a milestone because it's the final consolidation of everything we're building, frankly, over the past several years. Okay, the guiding vision we can summarize in a phrase that's aim height, start simple, and scale without limits. And that's not a interesting, cool tagline. Okay, I like this tagline, but it's also the vision for real. Because by aim high, I mean is the pace the technology is accelerating with AI and beyond. To succeed, we need really to plan very boldly. You need to set ambitious goal for the long-term future. You need to design things that are much bigger than what's happening today. That should be your initial aim on your systems. Then we should start simple. And by simple, I mean the meaning I'm using for simple in this case, reliable and focus. Meaning you should begin what you need now and make sure your operations are stable, your assets are well protected, managed. You adding that in top of with the full security. You have nice articles on our website about that. So you have the all operations first that you can count on properly established. Then you can scale without limits as long you have the proper tools in your tool sets. That's where FrameworX 10.0 comes in place to be the foundation to allow you to expand, meaning more sites, more devices, and much more important that, new functionality. And some of that new functionality is not even in your plan right now. The really fun starts when you start delivering things that not even in the original plan. And believe me, that will happen. And the core principles behind FrameworX 10.1 was to enable that journey.
That's perfect. So recapping, with 10.1, we encourage you to aim high for the future, start simple with what matters today, and scale without limits to achieve lasting success. So let me quickly walk you guys through the agenda today. We've prepared a couple of different sessions. First, you'll hear from our president, who will dive deeper into FrameworX 10.1. Then, our engineering team will walk you through a live demo of the platform in action. And finally, our sales team will share why this launch matters for the market, for our partners, and most importantly, for our customers. So with that, let's get started. Mark, do you want to bring in Harry in?
Yes, I'd like to welcome Harry McCune, our president, to talk a bit more in detail about FrameworX 10.1. So, Harry, what can you tell us?
Hey, thanks, Mark. Well, just it's an exciting time for TatsOff because this is really a new beginning for us. And just, I think as everybody learns a little bit more about where we're at, where we're going, it's just a good time to be with TatsOff. So I'd like to start a little bit with kind of when I met Mark, which was a few years ago. Dave Hellier, actually our VP of Business Development, introduced us, and we were at a coffee shop just talking about our backgrounds, our industry, TatSoft, pre-TatSoft. And I'd say within 10 minutes, I was kind of like, wait a minute, I don't think there's anyone else in the market that could be having this conversation together, because our background's similar, but different roles. So immediately I would say within weeks, Mark and I kind of came to an agreement and I joined the TatsOff team. And, it's been really good.
I want to add on top of that because before TatSoft, I was the founder and the creator of the company Indosoft. That's now Aviva and the product Aviva Edge HMI. And at that time, you were, I believe, Interlution.
Yeah, I was working. We were a independent sales, support, training, services around Inolution.
And don't be shy. We're one of the best United States, if not the best.
Yeah, we were pretty good. Inolution was good, but I kind of run parallels because at that time was kind of about the similar time as to when I met you in terms of TatSoft, where you guys were at. Yeah. So.
And what's interesting, I want to share this personal experience. That's the first time I'm sharing that in public. I knew your work, and the same way you knew my one as competitors, but never knew the face and the name behind the work. One thing that was interesting, that coffee, we had deep respect by each other's work as competitors at the time, not knowing who was the guy, the people, the mind behind those nice works done at that time.
So there's a little bit about our background. Let me tell you a little bit about FrameworX today and TatSoft today and what we've been up to. I mean, we've been doing some great things for our customers with our systems integrators and OEM partners since I've been with the group, and certainly even before that. And we're doing applications, anything from kind of base SCADA, HMI type stuff to really advanced mission critical operational applications. And it's led us into a variety of different vertical markets also. So some of the key markets are oil and gas, energy markets, of course, manufacturing, and transportation, just to name a few. But we're going to dig into that a little bit later. I think one of the most important things for us to talk about around our launch is our newer learning experience and documentation site. And this is really key to our platform, to getting our engineers with systems integrators and OEMs up to speed on our platform so they can realize the power of the platform. So with that, I want to turn a little bit back to Mark, and we're going to talk a little bit about Diataxis and show the new doc site.
Yeah, so let's do that. It's at docs.tatsoft.com, and I'm very happy to have that session with you because when you officially join the company and we lay out our long-term strategic plan, I remember you saying this platform is perhaps the most flexible and complete platform there is, but with that, it comes a price. You need to have great tech documentation. Before, the more power you have, the more flexible you are, the better you need to deliver the documentation tools. And that's us, our number one meeting, US President.
Yes. Yep.
And now, finally, I'm happy. We did our research and found this GTAxis model is nowadays the gold standard for technical contents. It understands very clearly the learning path for the user. As you see, you need to learn by action, by doing with tutorials. You need to learn by explanations, the concepts with those sections. You need to put that knowledge in action with the how-to guides. Then you need, as a technical product, the deep specifications on how you can find any information that we have. So we follow to the letter the GetAccess framework with a nice enhancements. In our industry, if I go now, for instance, on the alarm page, just to be an example, many users, they don't really to go that path, because right now they just want to know everything about alarms. And now, with, of course, with the hyperlinks and web technology, we can deliver that. So if they want to approach that through the alarm, you go from tutorial to advanced. And another path that's also in this matrix, that is the core foundation. As an engineer, I like trinits. You know that. That the last piece of the architecture is the role they have. So as you see here, you have GetAccess, you have the modules, and you have also, if you are a control engineer, if you are a system integrator, an IT professional, if you are working operation maintenance, or here for evaluation, we have guide and documentation a specific path. So I'm not going everything, that's for you to look, but for instance, that's the diagram for the software architecture, that's the UI of the designer. And the reason I'm showing those two is a bridge to talk about this tool, that's the GBT AI. When I was work on that, I found out that the way I work documentation, lots of print screens, is terrible. The AI cannot really deliver very well that type of contents. So part of this plan, the documentation, was to replace those images by vector diagrams. We wrote the documentation with one more public in mind, one more individual, the AI entity. If you like about that, read the articles, AI entities beyond property engineering by a nice guy, the author. And we have the 100 connectors, all the technology foundations. Imagine search 100 connectors with not proper documentation tools. And this section, Harry, I'd like you to talk about that because it was your inputs to add on documentation. Because with documentation, we know what to do. You know how to do. But where I'm going to apply that, that's the final piece. The technical documentation needs to be complete. So it was your input to make that happen. So talk about this last session.
Sure. Yeah, for sure. So Mark's referring to the industry use cases. So I talked a little bit about industries and where we're installed, but this kind of gives you a much broader resource to look at and to see what we're actually doing within these industries. Let me give you a couple examples out of our use cases. So one that I think is key to what we're doing in the market is the white label and product OEM section. So it points out a couple of use cases of actual customers we're working with, but we're unique in that both of those, that one, we do offer white label, brand label, meaning you can take our software, embed it, or create a solution around it and deliver it to the market as your own. And as well as a machine, maybe a machine builder, he may embed our software on his machine or equipment and then offer that as either powered by FrameworX or he has the option of just making it their own. So I think that's a big thing that we're unique to the market there. And I think that's Mark's background also, because he's been in that business.
Yeah, in one time, my previous company, we own a huge markets in the embedded device, Windows C, a huge percentage, but we have like 15, 25, but I don't even remember the name. And it's a bit I cannot talk in detail because many of those agreements, they have a NJ attached. But I can give just a generic example. We have companies with $5 billion plus in sales, automation industry companies, where our product is one of the core components in their automation suite of products. Right now, I'm talking about the past, talking this product right now. And another area in the industry, one more highlights, Harry, in the industry.
Yes. I was going to go to the oil and gas section. The work we did with the midstream, which is pipeline company. And because it was a recent job that the team was heavily involved with. And this application had a couple unique challenges. The first big one was they did not want to run a PC at the edge. So the application in a nutshell was 300 plus remote stations collecting data and actually enabling remote control of the remote station. So they did not want to run on a PC. They wanted to use a Cisco router. So Cisco router runs Linux, and there we go. FrameworX is a multi-platform product, and so we use our Edge Connect product, and basically the application communicated to the PLCs, enabled the two-way communications. We did some data transformation as well as unifying the data into a unified namespace. And then we packaged that up and prepared it to go to a series of 4 redundant MQTT brokers at the data center, where that was connected to their main overall SCADA control system. And the SCADA control system use that architecture to go down and individually supervisory data collect and control those individual stations.
Yeah, and I had the information. There are more than 300 sites now.
Yes.
We're hitting like 500, go to 400, but the initial deployment was 250 sites. What can tell us about the experience of the first 250?
Well, what we had to do, we were really under a timeline because this was an infrastructure upgrade for these guys. They were coming off very old technology. So they had to run pilot this system and run it parallel with their existing system. And we met the timeline goals, and the system's working today. So
how long was that niche deployment? How many months?
It was about 6 months.
Wow,
so,
that's
yeah,
amazing.
Yeah, and that was our whole team involved, along with a key systems integrator was really leading that charge. So
Great.
Our team supporting that effort thought it was really good.
Yeah,
so,
it's definitely a great example of nice architecture. And very recent case, just being deployed. Right now, they're expanding. Great. So what's next for us, Harry?
So we got a little bit of background there, as well as introduce you to the new learning and documentation site. So now we've talked a little, learned a little bit about us, talked a little bit about 10.1, our learning experience and documentation. I think now it's time to see some software.
Perfect.
So
Yes.
we'd like to bring out our guys to do a demonstration.
Perfect. Let's do.
All right, now to the most important part of the meeting so far, and that is a demonstration. And for that, I'd like to bring on Philip and Eduardo.
Thanks, Harry. Hello, everyone. I'm Philip Tomaszewski, Senior Application Engineer at TechSoft. And today, we'll show you 2 quick demos. In the first one, we will collect field data, publish it to an MQTT broker, and make it available for machine learning. To help me on this, I did bring Eduardo. Hi, Eduardo. How are you doing today?
I'm great, thank you. I'm Eduardo. I'm an automation engineering at TEDsoft. So let's keep this practical and fast. In this first demo, we collect data from devices on the field and publish it to an MQTT broker. With the historian module, we can historize this data into a SQLite database. The script module comes into the scene applying machine learning models to our demo. Finally, we visualize the data in a display using the display module.
All right, but there is just one little challenge that I would like to propose. Do you think we could do that in 10 minutes?
Absolutely. I'm 2 steps ahead of that and already did it.
Cool. So show us what you have.
Okay, so let's start creating a new solution. For this, we are going to use a template called Portable Layout, which allows us to visualize in different devices. The first step is to create the tags. Instead of typing them manually, we asked our GPT-based assistant, the FrameworX assistant, to generate a list of tags for a bottling line. It returns names, descriptions, and suggested data types. So I'll copy that list, and then we are going to the unified namespaces and tags. Paste the rows, and the platform already creates the tags for us. With that, we have the tags we needed. Next, we need values changing in real time. In devices, protocols, I'll add the first protocol, the value simulator. This protocol acts like a field device continuously producing data so we can test the flow. In a real project, this could be any industrial protocol. For the demo, a simulator keeps it simple and fast. We simulated the data ready. Let's publish it via MQTT. I created an MQTT node and pointed it to the broker. Here we are using the Hive MQ. Then in the point list, I paste the same tags and set the access type to write. So these points will be written to the broker. And to keep the things tidy, I'm grouping by node to show now that we have multiple nodes configured. At this point, data from our simulated tag are ready to be published to the MQTT broker. Now let's store the data. In Historian, I select our default Historian configuration. Simply pasting the tags into the Historian tag list is enough for them to start being logged. In this demo, we are using the SQLite for convenience, but you could swap to another database provider in real deployment. So now it's time to add a little intelligence. I create a class by importing it from our code library. It's called Anomaly ML. This class encapsulates a machine learning logic that we need. So if you open the script, you see the how to use section that explains everything about this section and how to use it. So we will trigger it using the expression, and every time the tag chosen changes its value, the expression fires, which calls the machine learning method. I'll pick just one tag here for reference, so when it changes, it will trigger. And finally, let's visualize it. I'll create a simple display page to act as our dashboard. To build it quickly, I drag the tags we want onto the canvas, and from there I can drop the gouge and add it to the display.
Eduardo, if you allow me, just a helpful tip. You know that every time after you place a symbol, you can right-click and choose Change Symbol without losing the data mapping. The tag binds stays intact, so you can basically swap visuals without really having to rewrite everything.
That's correct. And with the page ready, I'll start the runtime. You'll see that simulated values updating, MQTT publishing in the background, Historian logging into the SQLite, and the machine learning expression waking up whenever the selected tag changes. And that's it. In just a few minutes, we did everything that was proposed, and we are ready to move on.
Very good. So, recapitulating that. So you just showed me tags being generated by AI and how fast we can use them into multiple places inside FrameworX to speed up the development. Also, you showed me how to create all I need to make my solution ready for MCP clients, and after all, you still created a nice display to show the information in real time.
Yeah, that's it. It's done.
Impressive.
Seems like we still have some time remaining, so why don't we create another demo just to show them? But this time it's going to be a little bit different because we are going to get the data from the broker, bring it locally, and expose this to an MCP server.
I like the idea. Let's take a look at what I have this time. All right.
Let's go.
For the first step that I have here, I want to create the application. All right. We will start just by creating a basic application and using some basic templates here. And once it is created, we navigate to the Data Explorer and initialize the local broker. With that running, our project has a place to consume our data.
But what data?
That's where it comes our simulator. This data is coming from our MQTT data simulator. For today's example, we will map all the data to our simulation. So everything that we have in the simulation will be on our solution. We will use then the tag provider services to make those incoming MQTT values available to the platform. In the asset tree, we will create a new asset called Europe, and under that, we will import the subset of data that we want to use. The next step, we go to the script classes and create a new class. This will be imported from our class library, all right? This class will be responsible to implement the MCP server behavior exposing our application. Basically, it means that clients will be able to connect into our application that is tailored specifically for this solution. We will add a basic user interface just to show some data in real time. We will import that from our library too. Then we go to the display layout and set the display as the startup display for the project. Now, all we have to do is start our solution and voila, demo's up and running.
That's impressive, but we still have almost a minute, so what are we going to do with that?
What about a coffee? All right, now that you finished both the demos, could you show me them working?
Sure. Now both solutions are running, and we use Cloud AI to query them using the MCP server that we have been executing. Once we have the Cloud AI installed, we can open the developer settings and configure our MCP server tools.
Hold on. Don't you think we should show them how to do that?
Don't worry, in our documentation, that's every step is there. We provide a step-by-step example on how to do this. Don't worry.
Okay.
After that, any conversation can use the FrameworX connector, which has access to your solution, and from there you can ask questions and retrieve information directly from the application.
All right, that's nice. So let's make some questions to retrieve this information from the solution running. What could be our first question?
What is the system monitoring uptime?
That's a good question. Let's see the answer. Seems like it can validate for how long it's running and tell us precisely the uptime information. For the question number 2, I would like to ask it to get the last anomalies from the bottling line. And as expected, it returned us the information asked.
And what if we ask to return the solar panels power output in Barcelona? And it comes up with information and it's there.
Yeah, but based on your answer, let's finish it making AI send a message back to our application. Send a message to the operator. Congratulations them for their good job. As you can see, the message has been saved into HTML format, and it can be automatically read by our tools. And that's it from us, Harry. We are very excited on all the new things that we have preparing for you in this new version. Thanks for helping me out today, Eduardo, and thank everyone.
You're welcome.
Thanks, guys. That was a great effort on demonstrating the power, the AI readiness, and the speed of development of FrameworX. And now we're going to shift gears a little and bring on our sales team to talk about the value FrameworX is delivering to our customers, as well as our systems integration programs. So bringing in our sales team, I'd like to introduce Dave Hellier, our Vice President of Business Development, and Scott Gray, Senior Solutions Consultant. Let's start with you, Dave, and a little about your background and kind of how you got to know TATSoft.
Sure. So it started for me when I worked for a systems integrator in auto ID, barcoding systems. So scanners and labels and printers and things like that. We had a customer that was working for a DOS-based software company back then that was using some of our tools. And we got together on a couple projects, and I learned about SCADA software, so much so that he was able to give me some software to work with and try and learn how everything works together, and gave me a couple challenges, which I was able to address in a very good way. And so as that company grew and they needed more people, they offered me a position there to work in the support and marketing group to learn more. And so I was with them for a few years and ended up moving on to a company that was just starting to come to the U.S. and they were looking for sales help. And so I went to work for them as a regional manager, covering a good section of the United States and part of Canada. And went very well, was with them for about a half dozen years before moving on to another company that took a different approach to SCADA. Where the previous company packaged everything together, this other company sold everything separately. So it was, learning how to make sure you got the right pieces and that the customers, helping them work their way through the book of items that had to be ordered to address their needs. So the background was a lot of learning what worked and what didn't work and those kinds of things. And one day on LinkedIn, I was on LinkedIn, and I got a message from Mark Taccolini, the founder here at TATSoft, and he noticed that we had some common connections over the years. And so we started talking about what he was doing with TATSoft, and he was coming to Chicago. So we met over breakfast and spent pretty much the whole day talking about what his plan was, what the software was going to be, and how I might fit into the plans to help grow the company. And that's how I came to be here at TATSoft some 15 years ago.
All right. Thanks, Dave. How about you, Scott?
Well, I started my career at an automation distributor that sold PLCs, HMI, SCADA software. And back then, SCADA was based on DOS, and the HMIs were CRT. I did pre-sale support, post-sale support, and training. Next, I had my first sales position, which was for an HMI company, where I traveled around doing software demos of the configuration software for customers. My father-in-law owned a tool and die company that made special purpose machines, mostly for the automotive. And I went to work there, and I did the automation, which included HMI and SCADA. Then we were subcontracted to make automotive parts, so I ran a manufacturing facility for several years. Before joining TATSoft, I was working at a system integration company, and while I was there, we were paid by a customer to do a engineering study to recommend a SCADA software. After evaluating all the major brands, we chose FrameworX as number one, and I was really impressed with the software, so I reached out to inquire about working for TATSoft.
Nice. That was a good choice you made there. Thank you.
So far,
And-
yeah.
So, Dave, talk to us a little bit about the value you're seeing FrameworX deliver to our customers.
Sure. A lot of the customers like FrameworX because of its complete nature. It's everything that the platform does, everything that the platform installs when you install FrameworX. So no matter how much of it you need for any given project, all the tools are there for you when you're ready to go. So there's a lot of value for them in that. I found it really interesting that there was a lot of emphasis based on the value of being a .NET to the core platform because of the longevity that gives you. The fact that .NET has a very long roadmap and will be around for quite a while. And so having a .NET to the core platform like you have in FrameworX also does provide a lot of value for them in longevity, but also providing a cross-platform support for them. So they have many more options on how to build their solutions.
Okay, thanks. Scott, how about you? What kind of value are your customers seeing?
I think the fact that FrameworX is built on .NET is important because system integrators and machine builders often build their own software that's specific to their industry, and they typically use .NET. So the interoperability with FrameworX is greater and far easier. Also, a lot of clients have told me that they really like the unified architecture. So there's one configuration environment for all projects, everything from edge computing for doing data manipulation to HMI applications where you get all the functionality, but the license is right-sized so that it's economically feasible to run as an HMI, all the way to complete SCADA system, including the most powerful Industry 4.0 and now AI readiness.
Okay, makes sense. Dave, shifting a little bit here, can you speak to the critical role that our systems integrators and OEMs play to our success, and then talk maybe a little bit about our new SI Vanguard Alliance program?
Sure. Thanks, Harry. So system integrators are no doubt a key to our success. They have all the expertise in not only our software, but other software and other types of technologies that they would need to satisfy or to create the solution exactly as a customer wants. So we see them as having the expertise that is really needed for our type of software and to make sure it gets implemented in a correct way. So we find a lot of value in that. With OEMs, we also find a lot of value because they are creating their own solution based on our platform. So we are the software group for them. We create all the tools, all the technologies that they use. They take and they build an exact solution for whatever it is that they're trying to provide for their customers. And to help both of those, we are introducing in this meeting something called our Vanguard Alliance program, which is there to provide additional value for both system integrators and for OEMs through having an architecture mentor available for you. So when you want to lay out your system, you want to understand how to deploy frameworks, we have people that are there to help you understand the best way to do that. We have a 3-day fast track training on the platform. So we cover all the tools that you need specifically to accomplish your projects. So we're not, although there are many things we can cover in the product training, we focus on what's important for you to get the job done in a timely manner, efficient manner, and for optimal performance. Finally, as part of this, this introduction, we are offering a 50% discount on up to the first $10,000 worth of software that you use when you come on board with the Vanguard Alliance plan. So we'd like to see you join us and look forward to working together with you, focusing on your specific needs.
Okay, thanks, Dave. And I think we're already getting a lot of interest in the Vanguard Alliance program. So looking forward to working with new integrators. That should be great. Let's go over to you, Scott, and we're going to talk, given your kind of unique background of systems integration, OEM, and working with the manufacturer, why FrameworX?
The peace of mind you get from choosing a product that is complete and future-proof. It's a great choice to start a digital transformation because FrameworX can be an MQTT or Sparkplug-B broker and or client or any combination thereof. You don't need to deploy an enterprise MQTT broker. But if down the road you decide that you want to deploy one, it's very easy to scale your solution to utilize an external broker. Another key point is I speak to a lot of clients that say they aren't using AI today, but they fear they'll miss the boat and fall behind their competitors. By choosing FrameworX, they're hooking their wagon to a leader in AI-ready SCADA solutions. So this becomes a revenue opportunity because you are using a complete software that can do new projects where you can create unified namespaces and implement AI.
Mark, any comments based on the value statements?
Well, in fact, yes, you both gave great topics. I want to combine them with a really great value proposition. I just had this idea now after I myself saw the presentation. And this meshes for the system integrators. What I believe would be a value, when I saw the demonstration the engineers did, they did in 20 minutes what, if I'm an end user, I want to hire integrator to do. Let's do a proof of concepts of an AI project. So I had just 1 week of this system integrator. You should propose that to our users. And just 1 week of services, guess what? It's only 1 hour of FrameworX work, because it will be 2 days getting specifications from the user on the application you're going to add these components, the MCP. Then you're doing less than 1 day the implementation. If the data is not in FrameworX, it's great. We can interconnect with anyone, so you can add us in top of any brownfields. Then we spend 2 days showing the use case to the user. So you have right there additional final value to you based on the new partnership and the future proof that Scott mentioned, that 1 week action that you can do right away to bring value to you and to your customers. That's it, Harry.
Thanks, everyone, for your attention today. I want to remind everyone that this is our announcement for the release of FrameworX version 10.1. And to learn more, you can go to our website, tatsoft.com. And I encourage you to take a look around our documentation and learning site that we showed, as well as if you have any specific questions, our team here that you met is available for application questions, pricing questions, anything else that you need. I also want to mention that on Tuesday, October 14th, we're going to have a deeper dive technical session on specific new features of version 10.1. And that is going to kick off a series that we're calling Technical Tuesdays. So every subsequent Tuesday from there, we're going to break down a technical topic. With that, Mark, any final thoughts?
Yeah, I think I'd like to say to that, let me leave you with this FrameworX 10.1. It's about really raising the bar. It's fast to build, easier to use, ready to future for automation. We did show today how can go from idea to our solution in minutes with openness, scalability to grow, everything you need. That's why FrameworX 10.1 is not an update. It's really a step forward on how the people design, connect, and run applications now and on the future. It's built on technologies. In our website, we have 15 core technologies. I'd like you to take a look. And the final concept is, as we started, aim high. Things are evolving. Don't be ambitious. Then start simple, real, what we need. Then with our platform, you can scale without limits. That's it. Thank you very much. Harry.
Okay, now I think we have time for questions, so let's go to Q&A.